So I can take the seat until you are getting the mic. And to start with, it's my pleasure to be here with you. And yes, I know that you are very good with the work and with the words. And still, I'll let me know your views on few of the interesting topics. So to start with, I need to know that optimizing urban spaces is the key word. So as cities become denser, how can future design blueprint reimagine compact spaces to remain functional, livable, and at the same time architecturally inspiring?
So, I tried to cover that in my presentation. Uh, People-centric. We all are, at the end of the day, society, ourselves. So, if you could carefully observe the changing trends, I'll give you one interesting story. While we were talking about the new typology, one of the most challenging things is real estate. Because real estate developer takes a risk. They come up with the kind of apartment which are developed now, and that has to remain valid for next 3 years, 4 years. So can you imagine kind of a risk they are taking? So what if their design program goes wrong? What if they decide 700 square foot of a 2 BHK is not well accepted by people? I think always this is a quest, as I said. So what we started doing, that we said, okay, let's try to understand the realm of the society, like what they do in automobile. They call it as a clinic. So they call few opinion makers, they call few influencers, they call few talented minds to understand the likings and disliking of the society before they go live. Because again, in the automobile industry, ek bar car launch kar diya, you cannot change, so much of money is spent. And then they try to see what is the kind of a boot people want, what is the kind of a steering wheel people want. So they do a lot of research and the data analytics before they go live. So fortunately, again, we were blessed with 2 clients who believed in this particular philosophy, and we started creating a charrettes where we actually called 20 to 30 housewives, and I did 15-20 kitchen layouts and I showed it to them. I said, which one would you like and why? And you will be surprised to know we learned so many things from them. They very clearly said that we want a connect with the nature. We want a kitchen which has got a beautiful daylight. We want a kitchen where our distance between this platform to that one should not increase more than 5 feet, and so many things, So that is something which is very interesting. When we were talking with today's Gen Z generation, they said, drawing room chota bana do. Bedroom chota bana do. लेकिन जो भी 10, 15, 20 फुट है हमारे ड्राइंग रूम में बनाओ. Because we like to party, we want to call our friends at our home. So you can imagine the bedroom size, which was conventionally X by Y, for this particular sector changed. So what I'm trying to say here, long story short, we must have a connect with the people. We must have a connect with the end user. That is very, very important. It's very easy to design institutional project because the client is visible, client's likings, dislikings are visible, but real estate is one of the most toughest thing. And as much as you can spend time talking to the people, the more better the product will come. One more last thing I'll say. Now we are moving towards a concept of a dynamic house. So you just have a core and the internal partition walls are flexible. So only the wet areas are fixed, and people can change. People are very innovative. People can do incremental house. The husband wife says, "Abhi to शादी हुई है, 4 साल के बाद बच्चे होंगे, so let's enjoy the bigger space. Once the kids comes, we'll make a wall and create a bedroom. Once 2 kids will come, we'll make one more wall and make 2 bedrooms. But till such time, let's enjoy the entire place for partying." Can you imagine creating a space which is adaptable, flexible, and so on? So I feel that is the key for the future. One more thing I would say, it's a North American concept. People like to party. Everybody wants to party. It's very expensive to go to a restaurant for a young, upcoming professionals. GST, ye, wo, sab. So what do? So we started creating a spine, which is an amenity where there are party loudness are available. Simple. The food comes from home, the wine comes from home, but the party is at the podium. So wife is happy. Okay. So you call at Friday afternoon, hey Praveen, Sandeep, chalo aaj shaam ko milte hain. You just give a call to your concierge At very reasonable price, you get that party room. Everything is online anyways. Zomato, Swiggy. Enjoy the party, go home clean, you are happy. These kind of amenities and the thoughtful things if you give, I think your product is going to become more exciting. So I would say that is on your platform.
Now we are designing for the changing world. So, given the uncertainties which are posed by the climate change and shifting the social needs, what core principles should guide future-ready architectural blueprints to ensure flexibility and resilience? Of course, a part of this is being answered, but anything else you would like to, add to the resilience and flexibility?
This is brilliant question. Brilliant question. I would definitely like to talk for 2 to 6 minutes on this. One of the biggest risks that we have is a climate emergency. Just to let you know, today record shows that the global GHG emission only through our field, which is a construction industry, is 8.4 billion ton. That is today. And if we don't do anything, if we keep continuing doing the same thing what we are doing, within another 15 years, with the historical growth of 3% every year, this GHG emission will go to 16.4 billion ton in 15 years by 2040. That means the temperature rise all over the place will go above 6 degrees and probably half the world will become unlivable. This is a real-time data, I'm telling you. This is a real-time data. So what is important for all of us who are architects and designers here to understand the carbon numbers. It's a new concept. I'm again very happy to tell all of you, if you want to know more about this, please come. Prashant and me, we are working in that space at Indian Green Building Council and several forums. So you have to be mindful when you design something and when you specify something, what are the carbon numbers. I will not be surprised within 3 years. Take my word, if not 3-5 years, the rule will come. Hey, Mr. Architect, if you are designing a building, 700 kg CO2 per square meter. You cannot use more than that. Even if you are Ambani or if you are Reliance, this is what you can use. So if that is going to come on our way, let's be more educated about it. The Western world is already ahead of us because they are small. They all have taken a net zero carbon by 2030, or Prime Minister has said by 2070. So I think that's a quest where climate resiliency and the climate emergencies can be addressed very well. It's no rocket science, like we are resilient, Indians are resilient, and I'm very sure we will in fact be a trend-setting nation to prove the world how the built environment should be built. That is my optimistic view about it.
I want to know something about balancing tradition and modernity, because that's always a dilemma. So how can architects and designers of the future seamlessly weave cultural identity into contemporary designs, especially in a global landscape that often favors uniformity?
It's to really come up with brilliant questions. I mean, I truly appreciate that. This is again a very, very subjective, and this is again something which has been discussed, debated on several forums. Yes, we have seen an architecture right from Byzantine times to the medieval times to the renewal times to the postmodern to today's time. As I said, we have to change with the context, because what was relevant then is not relevant now. So again, it's a kind of a dichotomy as to how you maintain the ancient glory of our architecture through its guiding principles. But how do you modernize it to the need and the test of today's generation? So you have to be sincere, you have to be honest, you have to be very clear in your own mind. Whatever you are creating is going to be liked by people. If people have accepted it, the story is one. I will keep it as simple as that. We cannot get stuck to something. We cannot be over weld with something that is a Western influence. We have to balance, we have to see the contextuality. That's the reason what you do it in Surat, what you do it in north of India will not be relevant in Mumbai. But you have to understand, especially in a high rise. High rise is a very directional. And there are certain clues which you get through the engineering requirement of high rise, and you have to respect that. I mean, it is humanly not possible to do a conventional style of a construction for the tall building which goes above 100, 120 meters. So you have to balance the art and engineering together and maintain the ancient level. That's what I would say.
I mean, I must say that you are brilliant with your words. Like the way you are explaining is like amazing. Now, I have a few of your personal views on two of my favorite topics. So, if you could redesign any one famous building for the future, which one it would be, and of course why?
Tough question. So I would strategically and smartly dodge this question. But again, yes, this is also very important. Adaptive reuse. You know, we have to ensure that every structure that is built should not be demolished. It can be repurposed. It can be nicely restructured. It can be regenerated. I'm definitely seeing, trust me for this, all these mammoth parking lots which we are designing, they are going to become obsolete at some point. So keep it in mind, the architect who will develop a good strategy to convert these parking lots into a public areas, they will be flooded with the work. So start working in that direction. All these metros are coming, and I'm hoping and praying that this madness which is going towards so many two-wheeler parking, so many four-wheeler parking, which is a liability. Can you imagine 1,000 square foot of a house has 2 parking? So 1,000 square foot of a house has 800 square foot of a parking. It is good for rich people. Nothing wrong, but you have to ensure in affordable housing also it is the same thing. Today everybody is taking because builder is giving. But tomorrow after 10 years, this mammoth parking lot, especially in a basement and in a podium, has a huge maintenance cost. And on one side we are developing a metro for lesser traffic, and on the other side we are increasing the parking lots to come. So, if at all, after 10 years, all these parking lots I would like to design for the repurposing.
So all these spontaneous questions are answered so brilliantly by you, and I just love this idea. So I think I should start working on this, and I should be the first one to start working with you on this. Okay. Now, just a smaller one. What one futuristic concept you are personally passionate about implementing in your upcoming project?
Climate resiliency. I mean, it's a need of an hour. We all must learn more about the climate emergencies that we have in our micro market. Be very sincere, be very honest, and ensure that every design that you do is being rated, tested, validated by the climate expert. Because this is something that we do is going to be there permanently, perpetually. So it's something that everybody has to take that task on. Developers, architects, designers, end users, everybody. So I would say that is one of the key words for the future.
Now we'll have just a quick fun round. I mean, just 3 questions. Okay. Minimalism or maximalism? Which one will dominate the future?
No doubt. Minimalism, less is more is being taught to us.
Yes.
Definitely.
Sketch on paper or design on screen? Your first instinct even today?
Always. I was quite fascinated to bring the sky and the earth together. So I tried to create a kind of a structure which should bring that biophilic characteristics in the sky. Because when you go tall, you get sick. You want that connect with the mother earth. You want that connect with the biophilia. So any sketch or anything that is aspirational is how do you carry that nature with you in the built environment which goes in the sky.
Favorite futuristic material you are excited about?
always glass.
Your piece of advice for young designers about building the future.
Keep it simple, believe in yourself. All those who have decided to become interior designer or architect, it's the best decision you have taken in your life. There is no better profession than this under the sun. Enjoy it. Thank you.
And the last one, in one sentence, why does design matter even more today? Why does design matter more than ever today?
As I said, if your focus is on people, naturally the space that you design will uplift the human spirit. And you have to have a continuous mechanism to test that experiential behavior of a. We were saying something architecture after architect. All the architects here will agree. हम लोग प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं, बहुत जान डालते हैं. प्रोजेक्ट पूरा होने के बाद हमारा कनेक्ट नहीं होता है प्रोजेक्ट के साथ. I would confess. So now, it is so important for all the architects to go and examine the projects that we have designed 10 years back, 5 years back, how are they behaving? And always to do that correction if there is a gap between what you have designed and the way it is getting delivered. That's called POE, post-occupation evaluation. That's a quest that we have. So it's not one-time job, it's a perpetual, continuous connect and the commitment to architecture that you have created and design that you have created as an interior designer. That will give a better results.
Thank you. I think my questions are not going to end. I'll keep asking you after this, but let's go ahead with the flow now. Can we have our host over here? But it was brilliant interactions. So like one of the most interesting. And we have a big round of applause. For his brilliance in his work, for his brilliance in his words, and the most thought-provoking ideas. Thank you so much.